3 days into their journey through space, Jack still found himself waking up with a jolt, wondering where he was. The ceiling of his quarters aboard the royal vessel glowed with a soft blue light, mimicking dawn. Jack sat up and looked around the room, which was 3 times larger than his entire farmhouse had been. Lily had adjusted faster than him. She spent her days exploring the massive ship, following Zara around like a shadow, learning alien words and playing with strange devices that created holographic animals and landscapes. Jack worried sometimes, but Zara had assigned 2 guards to watch over his daughter at all times. Jack swung his legs off the bed. The floor warmed beneath his feet, reacting to his presence. He walked to the window, a massive clear panel that showed the stars streaming by like ribbons of light. The ship was traveling faster than light, a concept that still made his head hurt. A soft chime indicated someone at his door. "Come in," he called. Zara ducked. Through the doorway, her tall form elegant even when stooping. Her forearms were adorned with intricate metal bands that spiraled up to her shoulders. "Good morning, Jack," she said. Her voice translator gave her words a slight musical quality. "I hope you rested well." Jack ran a hand through his messy hair. "Better than yesterday. I think I might actually be getting used to space." Zara smiled, her expression somehow both alien and familiar. "We will reach the central worlds tomorrow. There is much I must prepare you for." Jack felt a flutter of anxiety in his stomach. "You mean like which fork to use at dinner?" Zara laughed, but there was tension behind it. "I wish it were that simple. The Imperial Court is a dangerous place, especially for outsiders. My bringing humans to court is unprecedented. Some will see it as an opportunity, others as an insult." Jack frowned. "What do you mean?" "Dangerous?" Zara gestured for him to sit. Her lower arms clasped together while her upper hands moved expressively. "Father, the Emperor is ill. I was returning from a diplomatic mission when I was attacked. It was not random, Jack. My enemies wished to prevent my return." Jack thought of Lily, suddenly concerned. "Is she safe? Are we?" Zara reached out, one hand hovering near his shoulder, not quite touching. "My personal guard will protect you both with their lives. But there is more safety and knowledge I must teach you about our ways before we arrive." The next several hours were a crash course in alien politics. Jack learned that Zara's empire spanned over 12,000 worlds, governed by noble houses that formed complex alliances and rivalries. Zara was the eldest daughter and heir to the imperial throne. Her father had ruled for 900 years, but was now declining, a normal part of their species' life cycle. "Your people have such short lives," Zara said with something like wonder. "You accomplished so much in mere decades. What would you do with centuries?" Jack thought about his wife, who had died 5 years ago. "I don't know that more time is always better," he said quietly. "Sometimes it just means more pain." Zara studied him with her large amber eyes. "Pain is universal across species, it seems." Their lesson was interrupted by Lily bursting into the room, followed by a flustered guard. Dad, look what I can do," she exclaimed. She held up a small silver device and pressed it. A perfect miniature galaxy appeared above her palm, spinning slowly with thousands of tiny stars. "Zara says this is where we are going." She pointed to a bright cluster of stars near the center. "Isn't it pretty?" Jack smiled at his daughter's excitement. "Where did you get that?" "The ship teacher gave it to me," Lily said. "All the kids have them." Jack raised an eyebrow at Zara. "Kids? There are other children on board," Zara nodded. "The children of my court officials and guards. There are 14 younglings aboard, though none as young as Lily. She has become quite popular among them." Jack felt a mix of emotions hearing this. Lily had always struggled to make friends at school back home. Too smart, too curious, too talkative, the other kids had said. But here among the stars, her curiosity was celebrated later. Jack found himself in the ship's enormous engine room. He had asked to see how the vessel worked, and Zara's chief engineer, a 6-legged being named Kroll, had been assigned to show him around. The technology was centuries beyond anything on Earth, but the basic principles were surprisingly familiar. "This regulates the matter conversion rate," Kroll explained, pointing to a glowing cylinder that balances the energy flow. Jack nodded. "It's like a carburetor and radiator, but on a massive scale." Kroll made a clicking sound that the translator rendered as laughter. You're primitive. Analogies are amusing, but not entirely incorrect. Jack spent hours learning the ship systems, asking questions that sometimes surprised Kroll with their insight. By the end of the day, the alien engineer was showing Jack systems that visitors were rarely allowed to see. You have an intuitive understanding of mechanics, Kroll told him. Most species take decades to grasp these concepts. Jack shrugged. I just like knowing how things work. When Jack returned to his quarters, he found Zara waiting for him. She stood by the window gazing out at the stars. Her posture was rigid. Formal. Is everything okay? He asked. Zara turned, her expression unreadable. I received a transmission from the Imperial Palace. My father has taken a turn for the worse. The High Council requests my immediate return. There will be challenges to my succession, Jack. Challenges I must face alone. Jack felt his heart sink. Does that mean Lily and I? Zara raised a hand. I promised you a place in my household, and I keep my promises. But I must warn you, the palace will be different from this ship. More dangerous. More political. I cannot always protect you. Jack thought about turning back, asking to be returned to Earth. But he looked at Zara's face and saw something there. Vulnerability, fear. She might be an alien princess, but in that moment she looked like someone who needed a friend. How can I help? He asked simply. Relief flooded Zara's features. Just be yourself. Jack Miller. That is why I brought you. Your honesty is rare in my world. Ship suddenly shuddered. Alarms blaring. Zara's communication device chimed urgently. She answered it, her expression darkening. What is happening? She demanded. Captain Vrex appeared as a hologram. Royal Highness, we have detected 3 warships on approach. They are not responding to hails and have weapons charged. Zara straightened to her full imposing height. Send my guards to secure the humans. Alert. All battle stations. Jack felt a chill. How far are we from your home? Zara looked at him, her eyes hard. Too far, Jack. The attack I told you about, it seems my enemies are not finished trying to stop me from reaching the throne. The royal cruiser shook violently as another blast hit the shields. Jack grabbed the wall to steady himself. 2 guards burst into the room, their armor gleaming. We must get you to safety, the taller one said. Where is Lily? Jack demanded, his heart racing. Already secured in the emergency pod bay. Princess Zara ordered all non-combatants protected, the guard explained. Jack followed them through corridors now bathed in pulsing red light. Crew members rushed past, some injured, some calling orders. The ship rocked again, harder this time. Jack was thrown against a wall, pain shooting through his shoulder. When they reached the pod bay, Jack spotted Lily huddled with a group of alien children. They were being watched over by caretakers with multiple eyes constantly scanning for threats. Lily saw him and broke away, running to him. Dad, she cried, I was so scared. Jack hugged her tight. It's going to be okay, sweetie, he promised, though. He had no idea if that was true. Where is Zara? He asked the nearest. Guard the princess is on the command deck coordinating our defense, the guard replied. Her tone suggested this was both expected and worrying. Another explosion rocked the ship. The lights flickered. Damage reports blared over the communication system. Shield failure in Sector 7. Engine core stability at 60%. Jack made a decision. Stay with these guards, Lily, he told his daughter, kneeling to look her in the eyes. I need to help. But Dad, Lily protested, tears forming. Jack wiped them away. Remember when the Johnson's tractor broke down during harvest and no one else could fix it? This is like that, I can help. She nodded bravely as he kissed her forehead. The guards tried to stop Jack, but he slipped past them, racing toward the engine room. He remembered the way from his tour with Kroll. When he arrived, the scene was chaos. Engineers rushed between smoking consoles. Some of the strange mechanical insects he had seen on Zara's ship were swarming over damaged sections, attempting repairs. Kroll spotted him. Jack Miller. You should not be here, the alien engineer said. I can help, Jack insisted. Tell me what to do. Kroll hesitated, then pointed to a damaged panel. The power flow to the shield generators is unstable. We cannot reroute it. The system is too damaged. Jack examined the panel. It reminded him of the power distribution box on Zara's smaller ship. He had fixed something similar. I need tools, he said. Kroll handed him a set of alien devices. Jack worked quickly, his hands moving with confidence. He didn't entirely feel he bypassed damaged sections, rewired connections. His time-fixing farm equipment and old trucks had taught him how to improvise with limited resources. On the bridge, Zara stood tall and commanding despite the chaos around her. The enemy vessels were closing in tight formation. Their attack pattern suggested they knew exactly where to hit the royal cruiser. Your Highness, Captain Vrex said, shields are failing in sections 4 through 9. We cannot withstand another concentrated assault. Zara narrowed her eyes. Options, she demanded. Surrender or destruction. Captain Vrex said grimly. We are outnumbered and they have disabled our main weapons. Array Zara refused to accept either. There must be another way, a junior officer approached cautiously. Your Highness, engineering reports unusual activity. The human Jack Miller is attempting repairs to the shield generator system. Zara's expression changed. Send me visual, she ordered. The screen showed Jack working frantically, hands moving with surprising speed and confidence, connecting components that shouldn't work together. He had stripped parts from non-essential systems, creating a bypass that no Imperial engineer would have considered. The shields were stabilizing. Zara smiled. For the first time since the attack began, she felt hope. Prepare for emergency maneuvers, she ordered. When shields reach 80%, execute evasive pattern. Celis 4, in the engine room. Jack finished the last connection. The panel hummed back, to lifelights changing from red to yellow to green. Kroll made a sound of disbelief. Impossible, you used incompatible systems together. They may be incompatible, but they both use energy flow. Jack explained, wiping sweat from his forehead. It's like connecting a tractor battery to a car. Different but similar enough if you know how to bridge the gap. The ship's announcement system came alive. Shields restored to 84%. All personnel prepare for extreme maneuvers. Jack barely had time to grab a support beam before the ship lurched sideways. The artificial gravity shifted momentarily, making his stomach turn. The massive royal cruiser, despite its size, moved with surprising agility, diving beneath the enemy formation. On the bridge, Zara watched as her ship slipped past the attackers. Weapon status, she demanded. Auxiliary weapons online, but at reduced power. Captain Vrex reported, target their engines. Zara ordered, we need only disable one to break their formation. The royal cruiser fired a series of precisely aimed shots. Not enough to destroy, but enough to damage. The lead enemy vessel faltered, its engines sputtering. Zara saw her opportunity. Break formation. Now she commanded. The royal cruiser accelerated, suddenly putting distance between itself and the attackers before jumping to faster than light speed. The stars streaked into lines as they escaped in the engine room. Jack felt the ship stabilize. He slumped against the wall, exhaustion hitting him all at once. Kroll approached, placing one of 6 limbs on Jack's shoulder. You have done something remarkable today, the engineer said. The princess will want to thank you personally. Jack shook his head. I just want to see my daughter. When Jack reached the pod bay, Lily threw herself into his arms, telling him about how scared she had been, but how the alien children had shown her games to stay calm. One of them had even given her a small crystal that glowed when she held it. Jack was listening to her story when he sensed a presence. Behind him, he turned to find Zara standing there. The alien princess looked tired, but her posture remained perfect. You disobeyed my guards, she said, her voice stern. Jack nodded. I did. Your Highness. Zara was silent for a moment. Then her formal demeanor softened. Jack Miller. You continue to surprise me. Captain Vrex informs me that your improvised repair was crucial to our escape. Jack shrugged. It was nothing special, just something that needed fixing. Zara studied him with those large amber eyes. The attack confirms my suspicions. The noble House of Trevan must be behind these attempts. House Trevan controls the largest mining operations in the Empire. They have long desired the throne. Why are they so determined to stop you? Jack asked. Zara hesitated. My father and I have proposed reforms to share wealth more equally among our worlds. House Trevin and other powerful houses stand to lose considerable profit." She looked away. They would rather see me dead than on the throne. Jack felt a chill. These were the politics Zara had tried to warn him about. "The ship will need extensive repairs before we can resume full speed." Zara continued, "We will stop at Station Lumina. It is controlled by House Atheron allies of my family. We should be safe there, Jack." Notice she said should not. Would the danger wasn't over. That night, after putting Lily to sleep in their new secure quarters, Jack stood at the window watching unfamiliar stars. He heard the door slide open and turned, expecting a guard. Instead, Zara entered alone without her usual entourage. "May I join you?" she asked, her voice softer than usual. Jack nodded. "Please," Zara moved to stand beside him. All four of her hands were clasped behind her back. "You saved many lives today, Jack. Including mine. I'm in your debt." Jack looked at her, seeing past the royal facade to the person beneath. "I was just returning the favor. You crashed in my garden, remember?" He tried to smile. Zara made a sound like gentle laughter. "I remember." She turned to face him. "You must understand something, Jack. Before I met you, I had never encountered someone who helped without agenda, without calculation. That is not how my world works." Jack thought about this. For the first time, he truly understood how alien their worlds were to each other. "Where did we go wrong?" he wondered aloud. Zara tilted her head. "Went wrong with all your technology and knowledge? How did your society become so focused on power and calculation? When did helping others become rare?" Zara was quiet for a long moment. Perhaps when lives stretched into centuries, it becomes easy to think only of oneself and one's position. "But I believe there is another way. Jack Miller. That is what my reforms are about. That is what I fight for." Jack saw the passion in her eyes, the conviction she truly wanted to change her world for the better. "I believe you," he said simply. Zara reached out one of her hands hesitantly. Jack took it. Their fingers twined together, alien and human joined in the starlight. The Imperial Palace was not a single building, but an entire moon, transformed into a vast complex of structures. Towers spiraled upward, glowing with internal light. Gardens floated in carefully maintained atmospheric bubbles. The entire moon orbited, a gas giant with swirling multicolored clouds that provided a dramatic backdrop. Jack had never seen anything so breathtaking. It made even Station Lumina seem small and ordinary by comparison. Their ship approached slowly, following a ceremonial path illuminated by thousands of lights. Zara stood on the bridge, now dressed in full Imperial regalia. Her garments shifted color with her movements, embedded with technology that seemed like magic. The ceremonial bands on her forearms glowed with internal light. Her face was composed, but Jack could see the tension in her eyes. "It's beautiful," he said softly. Standing beside her, Zara nodded. "My home for 3 centuries. Though I have spent much time away on diplomatic missions, an escort of smaller vessels surrounded them, guiding them to a private docking area. As they landed, Jack saw a reception party waiting. Their formal attire marked them as high officials. Zara turned to Jack and Lily, who had joined them on the bridge. "Be prepared," she said. "The palace can be overwhelming. For now you will be introduced as honored guests, personal friends of the Crown Princess. Keep close to my guards, Jack. There are those here who would use you against me." Jack nodded, understanding the warning. Lily looked nervous for the first time since they had left Earth. Zara knelt to the child's level, her formal demeanor softening. "Do not fear, little one," she said gently. "The palace has many wonders for curious minds. The Imperial Gardens have creatures from 1,000 worlds. The library holds knowledge beyond imagining." And she added with a slight smile, "I believe the royal kitchen can create something very similar to ice cream." Lily's eyes widened. "Really?" Zara touched the child's head gently. "Really now, both of you. Remember, you are under my personal protection. None may harm you without answering to me." With that reassurance, they disembarked. The reception was formal, but subdued news of the Emperor's condition affecting the mood, Zara was immediately surrounded by officials speaking rapidly in their native language. Jack caught occasional translated phrases, succession preparations, ritual observances. A tall, dignified alien approached Jack and Lily. "I am Seneschal Thorm," he said, bowing slightly. "I will show you to your quarters. The princess has arranged for your comfort." The palace corridors seemed endless with vaulted ceilings that changed color and texture as they walked. Beings of various species moved purposefully through the halls, many stopping to stare at the humans. Lily stayed close to Jack, but her eyes darted everywhere, taking in the alien wonders. Their quarters were spacious and luxurious, with views of the gas giant filling one wall. The furniture adjusted automatically to human proportions. Food and drink suitable for humans had been prepared. The seneschal showed them how to use the various systems, then bowed. "Princess Zara has been called to the Emperor's chambers," he explained. "She asks that you rest and await her summons." After the seneschal departed, Lily explored their quarters with growing excitement. The rooms seemed designed to surprise and delight, with hidden panels that revealed games and puzzles. Interactive displays showed information about the Empire translated into simple English. Lily was particularly fascinated by a holographic zoo that let her see animals from dozens of worlds. Jack tried to rest, but worry for Zara kept him alert. He watched the swirling clouds of the gas giant, wondering how his life had changed so dramatically in such a short time. From fixing tractors in a small town to standing in an alien palace at the center of an interstellar empire. It seemed impossible. And yet here they were. Hours passed before the door chimed. Jack opened it to find a solemn Zara. Her eyes were rimmed with silver, the equivalent of tears for her species. "He is gone," she said simply. "My father, the Emperor, passed into the great void. An hour ago." Jack reached out instinctively, pulling her into an embrace. She stiffened for a moment, then relaxed, allowing herself this moment of vulnerability. "I am sorry," he whispered. Zara pulled back after a moment, composing herself. "The official mourning period begins now," she said. "For 3 days the palace will observe silence. Then the High Council convenes to confirm the succession." "Will there be challenges?" Jack asked. Zara nodded. "There always are. With reform come resistance. My cousin Exor has already filed a formal petition questioning my fitness." She looked tired, but determined. "The trials begin after the mourning period. I must prepare." The next 3 days were strange and quiet. The palace operated in near silence. Lights were dimmed. Processions of officials moved through the corridors paying respects. Jack and Lily remained mostly in their quarters, though Seneschal Thorm arranged a quiet tour of some of the palace for Lily, seeing how restless the child was becoming. On the 4th day, Zara came to them, dressed in ceremonial garments of deep purple. "The Succession Council convenes today," she said. Her voice was steady, but Jack could hear the tension beneath it. "I would like you both to attend, not participating, merely observing. It is important that the council sees those I choose to honor." The council chamber was enormous, with seating for hundreds of officials. The walls were lined with historical murals depicting the Empire's long history. Zara was escorted to a central position, while Jack and Lily were shown to seats near the front, but off to one side. The proceedings began with ceremonial invocations and remembrances of the late Emperor. Jack watched as various nobles and officials rose to speak. Their translators allowed him to understand the formal archaic language they used. Most spoke of tradition, stability, continuity. Few mentioned reform or progress. Finally, a tall, regal alien rose. This was Zara's cousin. Jack could see the family resemblance, though. Zor's blue skin was darker, his bearing more rigid challenge. "The succession," Zor announced, his voice carrying through the chamber. "I invoke the ancient right of trial." A murmur ran through the assembled officials. The High Chancellor, a wizened alien with elaborate markings, nodded gravely. "The challenge is recognized. The trials will commence tomorrow. Princess Zara, do you accept the ancient ways?" Zara stood tall and proud. "I do." She said, "I will prove my worthiness before this council and before the Empire." That night, Zara explained the trials to Jack and Lily. There would be 3 tests: knowledge to prove her understanding of imperial law and history, judgment to demonstrate her decision-making abilities, and finally leadership to show her ability to inspire and guide. The first trial held. The next day was a grueling examination of imperial history and law. Zara stood before the council for hours, answering increasingly obscure and complex questions. Some clearly designed to trap her. Jack could see the political maneuvering as certain council members, allied with Azor, posed particularly difficult queries. Yet Zara answered with confidence and precision, occasionally citing ancient texts or precedents that seemed to surprise even her questioners. Jack felt a surge of pride watching her intelligence on display. Zord took his turn afterward. His knowledge was impressive, but Jack noticed how his answers emphasized traditional interpretations, stability over change. He spoke of maintaining the Empire's foundations rather than building new structures. The council deliberated briefly before announcing that both candidates had passed the first trial. The second would begin the following day. That evening, Jack found Zara in a small garden adjacent to their quarters. She sat alone, gazing at the gas giant, visible through a transparent dome. "You were amazing today," he said. Sitting beside her, Zara turned to him. "Knowledge is the easiest part, Jack. The test of judgment tomorrow will be more difficult. They will present scenarios with no clear right answer, designed to reveal my priorities, my values." Jack thought for a moment. "What are they looking for?" Zara sighed. "Some hope to see traditional values, the protection of noble privileges, the continuation of established ways." She looked at him. "Others, particularly those from the outer worlds, hope for change, for reform. But I cannot simply tell each faction what they wish to hear. That would reveal me as inconsistent, unprincipled." "Be yourself," Jack suggested. "The leader you truly want to be." Zara smiled, touching his hand. Those simple words hold more wisdom than hours of political calculation. The second trial the next day presented Zara with complex scenarios. Some were historical situations with known outcomes, others were hypothetical crises requiring immediate decisions. Jack watched as Zara navigated each, carefully balancing tradition with innovation, pragmatism with idealism. One scenario involved a planetary uprising. Xor, when presented with the same situation, advocated immediate military response. To preserve imperial authority, Zara instead suggested investigating the root causes, addressing legitimate grievances, while still maintaining order. The council seemed divided. Some nodded approval at Zara's nuanced approach. Others clearly preferred Zor's firm traditional stance. Again, both were declared to have passed the final trial. Leadership would determine the succession. "This will be the most difficult," Zara told Jack that night. "Each of us must present our vision for the Empire. We must inspire, not just the council but representatives from all major worlds who will be attending." Jack thought about this. "What will you say?" Station security locked down all docking bays as teams searched for additional sabotage. Jack paced in their quarters, while Lily slept, somehow able to rest despite the chaos. Zara had been gone for hours, coordinating with Lady Vela and her security forces. The door slid open and Zara entered. She looked exhausted, her normally perfect posture slightly slumped. "They found 3 more devices," she said, "all neutralized. The royal cruiser is damaged beyond quick repair." "What do we do now?" Jack asked. Zara sat beside him. "We take your suggestion. The unexpected route. Lady Vela has offered us the use of her personal vessel. It is smaller, faster, less recognizable. We will travel through the void sector." Jack nodded. "Is it safe for Lily?" Zara touched his arm gently. "No safer than staying here. It seems our enemies have infiltrated deeper than we realized. We must move quickly before they realize our plan." They left before the stations. Artificial Dawn, a small group consisting of Zara, Jack, Lily, Captain Frex, and 4 of Zara's most trusted guards. The rest of Zara's entourage would follow later on different ships, a diversion to confuse their pursuers. Lady Vela's ship was elegant and swift, designed for speed rather than comfort. The crew was minimal and handpicked for loyalty. The vessel slipped away from Station Lumina using service channels rather than main departure routes. Zara stood on the small bridge watching as the station grew smaller behind them. "We are committed now," she said. She turned to Captain Vreck's set course for the Void sector. The captain hesitated. "Your Highness, the navigational hazards, I am aware." Captain Zara cut him off. "We have no choice. Time works against us." Jack studied the star charts displayed on the view screen. The Void sector appeared as a dark region with few mapped stars or routes. It looked ominous even on the map. The Void was named for a reason. Captain Vrex explained, noting Jack's interest. Few planets, minimal stellar bodies, and strange gravitational anomalies. Ships have vanished there. Never to return sounds like the Bermuda Triangle back on Earth, Jack said. The captain looked confused. A place where ships and planes supposedly disappeared. "I explained the myths to Zara once," Jack said. "This is no myth, Captain," Vreck said grimly. "But it is our best chance to avoid detection." The small ship accelerated, then jumped to faster-than-light travel. The stars streaked into lines, then vanished, replaced by the strange shifting patterns of hyperspace. Lily was fascinated by the view, pressing her face to the window in her small cabin. "Do the stars look different where we're going?" she asked. Jack nodded. "They will be stars almost no one from our world has ever seen," he told her. "Maybe you can name one." Lily's eyes widened. "Can I really?" Jack smiled. "I don't see why not. We could ask Zara." The ship traveled for 2 days without incident. The Void sector lived up to its name. Vast, empty regions, with only occasional stars. Jack spent the time learning more about the Imperial politics from Zara. The more he learned, the more complex and dangerous it seemed. On the 3rd day, alarms sounded throughout the ship. Jack had been helping in the engine room, learning the systems of this new vessel when the alerts began. He rushed to the bridge. Zara stood tense, looking at a display showing a massive swirling formation ahead. "Gravitational anomaly," Captain Vrex reported. "Our charts did not show this. It must be new or moving. Can we go around it?" Zara asked. The captain shook his head. "Not without adding days to our journey, and our fuel reserves are calibrated for the planned route." Jack studied the display. It reminded him of something, the way the energy swirled and pulsed. "It looks like water going down a drain," he said. Whirlpool. Captain Vrex nodded. "The analogy is apt. The gravitational forces will tear this ship apart if we approach too closely." Jack had an idea. "If it's like a whirlpool, then the forces would be weakest at the outer edges, right? And at certain depths, whirlpools have countercurrents." The captain and Zara both looked at him. "What are you suggesting?" the captain asked. Jack pointed to the display. "If we skim the edge here at this angle, we might be able to use the gravitational pull to slingshot us forward. Actually increasing our speed, that would require incredibly precise calculations," Captain Vreck said. "And if we are wrong, then we get pulled in and crushed." Jack acknowledged. "But if I'm right, we save time." And Zara studied the anomaly, then looked at Jack. "I have trusted your mechanical intuition before." She turned to the captain. "Prepare the calculations. Work with Jack." The next hours were tense as they approached the anomaly. The ship shuddered as the gravitational forces began to affect it. Jack worked with the engineering team, adjusting power levels to compensate. Lily was secured in the ship center, where the forces would be least disruptive. On the bridge, Captain Vrex called out readings as they closed in. Distance 20,000. Units, gravitational pull increasing. Shields at maximum. Zara stood calm and still, though Jack could see the tension in her posture. "Stay on the calculated course," she ordered. The ship began to vibrate violently as they skimmed the edge of the anomaly. Warning systems blared as the hull stressed near its limits. The view screen showed a massive swirling vortex of energy and matter. "Now," Jack called as they reached the critical point. Captain Vrex executed the maneuver, firing the engines at full power, using the gravitational pull to slingshot them forward. The ship lurched violently, then shot away from the anomaly at incredible speed. The force pushed everyone against the nearest surface. Jack felt like his chest was being compressed. Then suddenly, they were clear. The ship stabilized as they rocketed away from the anomaly at nearly twice their previous speed. It worked, Captain Vrex said, sounding surprised. We have cut nearly a day from our journey. Zara turned to Jack, her eyes bright. You continue to impress Jack Miller. Later, Zara found Jack checking on Lily, who had finally fallen asleep after the excitement. The child had been frightened but also thrilled, declaring it better than any roller coaster on Earth. Zara sat beside Jack in the small cabin. You took a significant risk today, she said quietly. Jack shrugged. Sometimes the riskier path is the only one that makes sense. Zara was quiet for a moment. We will reach the Imperial Palace in 2 days, she said finally. The political situation awaiting us will be complex. My father. She hesitated. I must prepare you for the possibility that he is already gone. Jack felt her sadness. I'm sorry. Zara looked at him. I have lived for 300 years, Jack. I have always known this day would come. But I thought I would have more time to learn from him, to prepare. Jack was struck again by the vast difference in their lifespans. To him, 300 years seemed an eternity. To her, it was youth. If the Emperor is gone when we arrive, what happens? Jack asked. The High Council will convene. Zara explained. They will validate the succession or challenge it. If challenged, I must defend my claim. There are ancient trials, tests of worthiness. What kind of tests? Jack asked. Concerned Zara smiled faintly. Nothing so primitive as combat, though that was once the way. No, these are tests of knowledge, judgment, character, leadership. The qualities needed in an emperor. You will pass them, Jack said with certainty. Zara's expression softened. You have such faith in me. Jack shrugged. I've seen how you handle a crisis, how you care for your people, even Lily. You have all the qualities of a leader. Zara reached out, touching his hand lightly. This is why I brought you to court, Jack Miller. You see, clearly without the distortion of politics and position, I will need that clarity in the days to come. The ship continued its journey through the void sector. Stars were rare here, making the darkness outside seem absolute. But Jack found he no longer feared the emptiness of space. It had become familiar, almost comfortable, on the final day of their journey through the void. Captain Vrex called them to the bridge. We are receiving a transmission, he said. Imperial frequency. Zara straightened. Put it. Through a hologram appeared of an elderly alien with deeply lined blue skin and ceremonial markings. Princess Zara, the alien said, bowing. The Imperial Palace awaits your arrival. The Emperor. Your father has entered final transition. He asks for you, Zara. Visibly stiffened father, she whispered. Then louder. Tell him I am coming. Tell him I will be there. When the transmission ended, Zara turned to Captain Vrex. Maximum speed, she ordered. We must reach the palace without delay. Final transition? Jack asked. Quietly, when the others had left to carry out their duties, Zara closed her eyes briefly. The last stage of life for our kind. The body fails, but the mind remains clear. It can last days or merely hours. She looked at Jack. I must see him before he is gone. Jack took her hand without thinking. I hope you will. Station Lumina appeared first as a brilliant point of light, growing larger as the royal cruiser approached. The space station was enormous, a spinning wheel with glowing spokes connecting to a central hub. Jack and Lily stood at the observation deck watching the station fill their view. It's like a giant Christmas ornament. Lily whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. A representative from House Atheron is waiting to greet us. Zara explained. She had joined them wearing formal attire that shimmered with embedded lights. Her forearms were adorned with ceremonial bands and her head crowned with a delicate circlet. I must warn you both. The customs here may seem strange. Our allies are welcoming, but they have their own ways. Jack nodded, trying to hide his nervousness. This was their first stop in alien civilization. He had adapted to life on the ship, but this would be different. When they docked, Zara insisted that Jack and Lily stand with her in the receiving line. Not behind, but beside. This caused visible shock among some of her court officials. Jack heard whispers, but could not understand the alien language. The welcoming party from House Atheron was led by Lady Vela, a tall, willowy alien with pale green skin and eyes that changed color as she spoke. She approached with a formal gliding movement. Her attendants followed, carrying elaborate gifts. "Princess Zara," Lady Vela said, bowing slightly, "House Atheron welcomes you and offers sanctuary. The attack on your vessel troubles us greatly." Zara returned the bow. "I thank you for your hospitality. My father, the Emperor, speaks highly of your houses. Loyalty." Lady Vela's eyes shifted to Jack and Lily, lingering with obvious curiosity. "And these are the humans we have heard about." She switched to English, surprising Jack. "Your reputation precedes you, mechanic of Earth," Lady Vela said. "The one who repairs the unrepairable. News travels fast," Jack said, unsure how to respond to an alien noble lady. Vela smiled, an expression not unlike a human's. "You have no idea." The next few hours were a blur of introductions and ceremonial greetings. Jack tried to remember all the protocols Zara had taught him. Lily stayed close, clutching his hand, but her eyes darted everywhere, taking in the alien sights and sound. Station Lumina was a trading hub with species from dozens of worlds. Jack saw beings with multiple limbs, others that floated rather than walked, some that communicated through changing skin patterns. The architecture was organic, with sweeping curves and materials that seemed alive, shifting colors in response to light and movement. They were given luxurious quarters in the station's diplomatic section. The rooms adjusted to human comfort levels automatically. The food, when it arrived, was specifically prepared to be compatible with human digestion. Lily was delighted to discover it tasted like fruit and honey. While the ship underwent repairs, Jack was invited to tour the station's engineering sections. The technology was incredible, but as on the royal cruiser, he found familiar principles underlying the alien designs. The chief engineer, a being with tentacles instead of arms, seemed impressed by Jack's questions. "You understand the flow of energy," the alien said. "The principle matters more than the specific technology." That evening, a formal reception was held in Zara's honor. Jack wore clothes provided by the station tailors. The fabric adjusted to his body temperature, keeping him perfectly comfortable. Lily wore a dress that sparkled with tiny lights that responded to her movements. She twirled, watching the patterns change. "Remember what I taught you," Zara said quietly as they prepared to enter the grand hall. "Speak only when spoken to. Accept food with your right hand only. And never mention the imperial succession." Jack nodded. These politics were dangerous water, and he was still learning to swim. The grand hall was filled with representatives from various noble houses, all allies of House Atheron and supposedly friendly to Zara's claim to the throne. But Jack noticed how conversations quieted when they passed, how some aliens watched Zara with calculating eyes. Lady Vela introduced them to countless officials. Jack tried to remember names and titles, but they blurred together. He kept Lily close, watching as she charmed the aliens with her innocent questions and excitement. Halfway through the evening, Zara was called away for a private meeting with Lady Vela. Jack found himself standing alone with Lily when a tall blue alien approached. "So you are the human who impressed our princess," the alien said. His translator gave his voice a deep, resonant quality. "I am Lord Keth of House." Marine Jack bowed as he had been taught. Lord Keth, the alien, studied him. "You know, she brings you to court as a curiosity, a primitive who showed unexpected skill." Jack felt his face warm but kept his expression neutral. "I believe Princess Zara brings me as a friend, Lord." Keth made a sound that might have been laughter. "Friends. The princess has allies, resources, subjects, but friends." How curious. He leaned closer. "Would a friend tell you of the dangers that await at the imperial palace?" Jack tensed. "What dangers?" "The succession is not as simple as Zara suggests," Lord Keth said. "Her father has ruled for 9 centuries. Change comes hard to our kind. There are those who believe Zara's reforms threaten the very foundation of our empire. Those who might prefer a different heir." Jack thought of the attacks on Zara's ship. "Are you threatening her?" Lord Keth stepped back. "I merely offer information. Consider it a gift." He looked down at Lily. and consider what place a human child might have in the court politics to come. Before Jack could respond, Zara returned her posture rigid. Jack could tell something was wrong. Lord Keth nodded to Zara and moved away. "What was he saying to you?" Zara asked, her voice low. Jack hesitated. "Just court politics, I think. He was warning me about dangers at the palace." Zara's eyes narrowed. "Lord Keth is cousin to the head of House Trevin, our suspected attackers. His presence here is concerning." Jack felt cold. "Do you think the station is compromised?" "Not the station." Zara said, "Our communications. Our enemies knew our course, our shield configurations." She looked around the room. "This reception reveals who is watching us, but we must be careful. Jack, keep Lily close." Later that night, after Lily was asleep, Jack met with Zara in a secure room swept for listening devices. Paced the forearms, moving in agitation. "Lady Vela has intelligence she shared privately," Zara explained. "My father's condition worsens. The High Council is divided on the succession. Some support my cousin Xor as an alternative heir. Is Xor part of these attacks?" Jack asked. Zara shook her head. "Xor is many things, but not an assassin house. Travan supports him because he favors their mining monopolies, but Xor himself prefers political maneuvering to violence." She stopped pacing. "They will try to delay our arrival, Jack. Until my father. We must reach the Imperial Palace soon." Jack thought for a moment. "When the ship is repaired, could we take a different route? One they wouldn't expect." Zara looked at him. "That would mean traveling through the void sector. It's dangerous, uncharted, but would they expect it?" Jack pressed. A slow smile spread across Zara's face. "No, they would not." She reached out, touching his cheek lightly. "When this is over, when I am secure on the throne, I will show you wonders. Jack Miller, worlds where the oceans sing, mountains that float in the air. I will give Lily an education beyond anything possible on Earth." Jack caught her hand. It was warmer than a human's, softer. "That's not why I'm helping you. You know that, right?" Zara stepped closer. "For 900 years, my people have built an empire on calculation advantage position. You help because it is right. Because I need help. No other reason." She leaned down, her face near his. "This continues to fascinate me." Jack felt. His heart beat faster, aware of how close she was. Her alien features no longer seemed strange to him, just different, beautiful in their own way. Sudden alarm blared through the station. Zara pulled away, instantly alert. Her communication device chimed. "Emergency. In Docking Bay 3, Captain Vrex reported royal cruiser showing signs of sabotage. Engineering team detected explosive devices." Zara's expression hardened. "Evacuate the ship, secure all personnel, find who did this." Jack thought of the reception of all the aliens who had access to the ship during repairs. "How do we get to the Imperial Palace now?" he asked. Zara's eyes met his. "I believe it's time for your different route, Jack Miller. But first we must survive the night."